what can you tell fans in South Florida about the state of the Marlins with you, with Jeter in the front office, and all the conversation about the roster and what was done in the offseason and how you guys are trying to compete? What would you give me an update on this situation, Don?
Oh, if I was talking to the fans of South Florida, I'd definitely say, we're in a great spot. I think what Derek and the new ownership have put in place here is something that's going to be sustainable. What we were doing in the winter, it had to be done. And you hate to say it like that because we let some really good players go, but we've got some really good players back. Derek talks about building this thing from the bottom up, being totally professional, running this organization as a professional, players playing the game that way. We're in a good spot right now. I think we probably exceeded expectations. I think everybody thought we were going to lose 120 games or something, but we've been really competitive. The guys have played extremely hard. It's one of the things Derek talks about is we're going to be in a competitive environment where, you're always need to show who you are and keep playing because there's going to be guys coming. And we want to build this thing, from that standpoint where it's a competitive environment where guys know they have to perform or there's somebody else coming.
Have you used I know Steinbrenner always liked having football mentality in his managers. Have you used, I guess, the typical football, nobody expects us to do anything? Have you used that with your players at any point this season, Don?
I definitely didn't have to. I think with all the talk, going into spring training, and I think teams looked at it again like we were going to be a doormat, like it was going to be a circus. And our guys have came out. We've prepared the way we would if we were right on the verge of winning a championship. The way you have to. We have to. We've looked at it as a teaching environment, a development environment where we got to continue to get better. We got to prepare to play every day. We got to play good baseball, make good baseball decisions as you're playing the game. I think our guys have been great. They've played extremely hard, and to be honest with you, we're playing really well.
What do you think Steinbrenner would have thought that you'd be managing for a team that Derek Jeter was part of an ownership group? What do you think he would have thought about that?
I think he would have liked us both to be in New York in some way, shape, or form. George is very loyal to his players and the people that had success in New York. But I think, I look at it a lot like Yogi. You got to go and make your own path and create your own environment. But what Derek's doing, I think, is there's a lot of Yankee involved with what we're doing. What we're doing in the minor leagues, the professionalism we want guys to play with, how we expect them to work and prepare. There's a lot of New York down here.
Well, I mean, and I'm just wondering if it's interesting at all to you, if it's lost to you. I mean, your last season with the Yankees, he was getting a cup of coffee, getting his toe wet in a playoff series with you against the Seattle Mariners. I mean, do you ever look at Jeter and go, "My gosh, that's my boss"? Ever?
It's a little different starting out with that, but I have so much respect for Derek and the way he played the game, the way he handled himself. And I got to see, I feel like I've seen this thing from the very beginning, from the first year that he signs, he plays rookie ball, but the next year he's in big league camp every year. So I watched his pretty much whole development, kind of from one spring to the next, then all of a sudden he's getting up for a cup of coffee and back, and then he's back up, and you could just see him getting better and better. And it's a lot of fun working for Derek because he expects a lot, and the way it should be, right? He knows the game. When you talk to him about what's going on with our players, he sees it. There's no doubt that he's watching every game and what's going on with this, and he expects us to play the game the right way and play hard. And it's been a lot of fun working for him.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.